Another month, another stack of manga that I've read. Yokoso, my manga society. So welcome back to another reading log. So this will be for obviously September, and we're gonna be doing this one a little differently. So instead of doing like ratings for each volume, for each volumes and series that I talk about, I'll be doing whether I recommend it, I don't know if I can recommend it yet, or I don't recommend it. And there will be different reasons for whether I recommend something or not. So I'll explain a little bit once we get to some specific volumes. And this month, I feel like each month gets smaller and smaller. It's like, am I even a manga content creator at this point? 13 volumes. I went from 18 to 17 to now 13. That's crazy. No, that's still a decent amount. So I've just been like pretty busy with editing videos, coming up with ideas. Let me know what you've been reading this last month and what you're excited about for the next month. So let's just get into the first volume. So the first one I wanted to talk about is Leviathan Volume 3. So this, if you have not heard of this or have not checked it out yet, I would highly recommend checking this out. So Leviathan Volume 3. This volume was absolutely crazy. And this is the last volume of the series, 3-volume series by the new publisher Akane. And I was thoroughly surprised with how good this manga was. So this is like a sci-fi suspense mystery type of story. And the thing that I could compare it to the most is Drifting Classroom. And they actually said in this volume in an interview that this was pretty inspired by Drifting Classroom. So if you enjoyed Drifting Classroom, I would definitely recommend this. I feel like this is for sure going to be recommended. So this next one, Sign of Affection Volume 1. So this was a crazy pickup, not because it's like rare to find or anything, but this was on a pretty good discount. If you haven't seen already, I posted a video last week doing a manga haul, and I got this last week. So this is a romance, and it's about a deaf girl and kind of her struggles and sort of like, you know, the romance aspect of having that sort of like disability. Yeah, it's a pretty good first volume. I am gonna have to put this in, I'm not yet sure if I can recommend this. I feel like for most cases, volume 1s are gonna be like that. And you do get a good sense of characters and their introductions in this volume, but still not much has happened. I feel like if you do like romance stories, I feel like you could probably check it out, but that's just kind of my stance right now. So next up I have The Bugle Call Volume 2. So this has been a recent pickup. I feel like when this first started coming out, only minimal amounts of people were really talking about it. And so I was extremely excited to read this because the premise was so unique. It's about a bugler who kind of has like these powers, and there's like other branched, that's what like these people with powers are called. And so they each have different powers. And so this volume was really ramping up. I feel like the first volume was a good introduction volume, but this is kind of like where it starts to ramp up even more. And you get introduced to more of like the powers, and it's just absolutely crazy. I feel like this volume is absolutely recommended. So now I'm going to be talking about another romance manga, and that is Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. So if you know me at all, this is a great series. Straight off the bat, I'm just going to say I recommend this one. This isn't one of those mangas where it's like so many different understandings. Now there are definitely like misunderstandings and stuff, but that's just like kind of a part of the plot. I feel like it just handles it so well. It's not like one of those shoujos where it's like misunderstanding after misunderstanding. There's actually like resolutions and solutions, and the story just always progresses a great amount, like each volume. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this manga is like really progressing at a really good pace, which I feel like is pretty hard for romance mangas to do. So I would definitely recommend. These next two volumes I'm going to be talking about together because they're just both Blue Lock Volume 21 and Blue Lock Episode Nagi Volume 4. This also, I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, if you know me, I'm a huge Blue Lock fan. Like, just look at my shirt, look at him. And yeah, just recommended. I really don't know what else to really say about these. I feel like episode Nagi, at least, has some really good insight on like the side characters going through the main story and stuff like that. So this is always like a cool read. Then just like the main stories just progresses so well, and so much happens, and you get more details on like some of their training and some of their, like, you know, I don't want to say like power-ups, they're not like superheroes, but you know what I mean. So yeah, just recommended, absolutely. So this is the last volume that I have that I actually own, and then I'll go over some of the library books that I read this month. So this last one is Akane Banashi, volume 13. Some pretty crazy stuff happens in this one, so if you're not like caught up on this, or you're thinking about, you know, starting this series, I feel like this is a really good time to start, especially since the anime is about to come out. I feel like I always mention this, but you know, it's such a great story, and it's really starting to get more and more popular, and more people are talking about it, so recommended. Snapkin. So this first library book that I read is called Captivated by You. So this is a 1-volume manga. It's kind of like a bunch of short stories about these high schoolers, and each chapter, they're like kind of connected, but they're always like different characters with one reoccurring character. It's kind of like, I don't know, it was enjoyable to me, and there is an anime that just got announced for it, which is really cool, but I feel like I personally don't know if I can recommend this to other people just based off of this. So this next one is volumes 3 and 4 of Hellsing. So now this, to me, has been pretty enjoyable. I feel like the art is absolutely insane. So if you like vampires and vampiric violence and stuff like that, this is, I don't know, I feel like I want to recommend this. I just don't know if I can yet. Only a few volumes in. I'm enjoying it, so take that as you will. If you want to read it based off of that, go ahead. But currently, I feel like I'm just gonna rate this, I'm not sure yet. Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife. So this has actually been such a good read. It's so cute. Yeah, it's just super interesting. I actually didn't know this took place in like a world that had other creatures too. Like it, you know, it has like werewolves, like wolf people, and just like creatures and stuff. So super interesting. It's about like this invisible man and a blind girl that like work together at like a detective agency. You know, they just kind of start dating, and I don't know, it's really cool to see how they interact, because one's invisible but she's already blind. So it's pretty interesting, the concept of this, and I'm gonna have to say I definitely recommend this, especially if you like romance mangas and stuff like that. This is definitely a recommend. And so we're coming up on the last volume that I read. This one is Wand Dance Volume 4. So I feel like the story is definitely ramping up for me. This is about like a high school dance club. The main character is just now getting into dancing, and all the while he's kind of like, he has like a stutter, and so there's always comparisons between the two, and so it's pretty interesting. The art is really good when they're like dancing and stuff. When they're not dancing, I feel like the art's usually just like, you know, it's like, okay, nothing to like complain about or anything. It's just like not the best, you know. And so the story's definitely ramping up, volume 4. I'm gonna have to go with, I'm not sure I can recommend this yet because I'm so early on in this story, and I feel like the first couple of volumes was such a slow start where, I don't know, I felt like the paneling was weird and I didn't exactly know where the story was going. I am enjoying it a lot more now, but based off that, I'm not sure I can recommend it yet. So if it sounds interesting, then you could definitely check it out. And that is it for the September manga reading log. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to join the Manga Society today. And leave down in the comments what you thought of this, this reading log. Again, what have you been reading? What do you look forward to? And stay tuned for next week's video. It's gonna be kind of crazy, not gonna lie. As always, this world is cruel, but at least we have manga.